Welcome back, and thank you everybody for coming out on such a cold, miserable day. Let's jump right into this. Please ignore the shaky fingers when you're an old grandpa man. Guarantee you'll get a set just like them. Okay, here. Today we're talking about living your life right. Try to get rid of that phone. No phone, okay? It's the most destructive thing that's ever been invented for human beings on this planet. Now this represents your life. This hanky, it's not very long. Your life is short. No matter how you stretch it out, it's still short. You can wave it around, you can go places, it's still free life. But the minute you get involved in a cell phone, which is represented by this hole, and you start looking at things like YouTube, Facebook, texting, Netflix, talking to your friends, who knows, everything. You keep shoving your life into this phone and you spend 5 hours a day looking at things in that phone. Pretty soon, you don't have a life. You need to throw that phone away, get your life back, and start living your life again. Get out there, get free, get happening. Right? Okay, now, your average person today, I'm told, spends about 5 hours a day on a telephone. Well, that takes literally years off your life. Let me show you what I've done with my life by avoiding telephones. Here we are, I'm sitting in my canoe having a good old time. Nothing I like better than a canoe. It's very relaxing and fun. You can go fishing, you can explore the wilderness. I grew up on horseback. One of my first jobs, wrangler, young guide and outfitter. There's my pastimes. I build things. Yeah, I like this hovercraft. Get the blueprints and start building. It doesn't take a whole lot of money. You just get your lumber out of the scrap piles at construction site or from farmers' backyards with their permission, of course. And you spend your time in there building that instead of spending your time and money in the bar drinking and smoking cigarettes and doing drugs. Put your money into something that you can keep, something that brings you joy and have fun with. Even in the wintertime, this thing's a blast. It's so fast on ice. I was also building remote control airplanes. These are a lot of fun. But I'd have never got them built if I was sitting around doing this on my telephone all the time. My latest project is a nice houseboat. Again, you get your lumber cheap if you get it secondhand. Nothing nicer than sitting on the front deck with a fishing rod and a cup of hot chocolate. It's a good way to retire. Humans are made out of 3 parts. We're physical, mental, and spiritual. If any one of these 3 parts is lacking, you're not a real person. You're not a real man. You got to be physically fit, or you're not going to be healthy enough to enjoy life. You're not going to be healthy enough to go anywhere or on any adventures. And I've been on a ton of adventures in my lifetime, like climbing mountains. You got to be practically a marathon runner before you start climbing big mountains. They are incredibly hard on the human body. Some people will lose about 12 pounds of water. They just sweat it out going up these bigger mountains. And I've never seen a fat guy standing on the top smoking a cigarette. It just doesn't happen. Your brainiac side. You got to study hard if you want to be a pilot like I was. You got to get a pilot's license. They don't give them out to just anyone. You got to be smart enough to pass that exam. So you got to study hard. I've flown a variety of aircraft, including this beautiful old vintage 1947 Piper Cub. You got to flip the propeller to start it and then count your fingers, make sure you haven't lost any when it starts buzzing. You're a spirit man. Everybody says, oh, I go to church, I'm spiritual. No, it's not going to cut it. Prayer, talking to your Heavenly Father. He made you, and he requires a certain amount of back and forth. That's what friends do. You talk to each other. So when you're praying, don't just blah, 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 blah. Give me this, I want this. Shut up and listen. He's talking to you, and he's going to keep you out of a lot of trouble in the future. Let him help you make the big decisions in your life. You're going to make a million decisions in your life. If you leave God out of those decisions, you're not going to know which way to turn. And interesting side note, I found out by being single for the first 30 years of my life, there is a hole in your heart, in your spiritual heart. And you think, oh, no problem, I'll just ignore it. No, you still feel lonely at night. Oh, no problem, I'll buy a nice car, a nice house. Doesn't work. Oh, I get lots of friends, that'll fill that hole. No, it doesn't work. Well, I'll get married. Yeah, that'll fill that. There are a lot of married people that are still lonely because they don't have a close personal relationship with your Heavenly Father. He's the only one who can fill that hole. So if you want to stop feeling lonely, learn how to talk to God, learn how to listen. And like I said before, you gotta make your most important decisions in life by asking God to guide you through those decisions, or you're gonna wind up in big trouble, like this poor guy. Lots of adventures out there, like ice climbing, skiing. Love skiing. Been skiing since I don't remember the first time I put on skis. I was so little. Camping in the wintertime, -30. Who is this crazy guy, huh? What an adventure. Go out, dig a snow cave, which is a sleeping bag under a tree, but you got to have money for these. If you don't have the right gear, you're going to freeze to death. So you got to get off the phone, find a job. Do I sound like Dad right now? Are you a teenager watching this? Yeah, get a job. Get off the phone. Caving. Yeah, don't do caving without proper training. You'll wind up dead in there. I've pulled dead people out of caves before. The path to heaven. That's what it looks like. You want to get to heaven, you got to walk the straight and narrow. I had this rope 1 foot off the ground, and I learned how to walk on it. I fell off a million times, so I finally got professional. I could walk all the way back and forth. Then I raised it up a tree, 30 feet. Went to step out on that wire, and my brain said, "Are you crazy? You fall off there, you're going to kill yourself." So I put a second wire above me, put on a safety harness and clipped on, and then I was able to walk on it. Yeah, just because you're strong enough to walk a wire doesn't mean you should do it without some safety. God's your backup. Reach up, take your safety. Keep God's hand when you're walking through life. Caving, oh, that's fun. Dangerous. Get proper instructions from a professional before you do it. Icicles don't always hang from the ceiling in a cave. Isn't that weird? These wonderful adventures you could be going on, but you'd sooner sit there and go like this on your phone and watch YouTube. I don't know. You're missing out. Well, if you're claustrophobic, don't do this. I spent 3 years with the Canadian military. I spent 3 years with the RCMP as a police officer. And then I spent 10 years with search and rescue, which was more fun than all of them because I got to actually help people, got to save lives. And occasionally, when people were dead before we got there, then I had to bring them home in a body bag. The person in the center here is my instructor. He was teaching us how to rescue people out of this hole. This is the Columbia Ice Field. South of Jasper, there's a parking lot. You can see a million cars there, a bunch of tourists walking around. When they leave the parking lot, there's a warning sign that says, "Don't walk on the glacier. You could fall into a crack." At the time this picture was taken, back in 1994, according to the stamp, our instructor told us 26 people walked up there in running shoes, walked up to the edge of this crack to peek in to see how deep it was, slipped and fell in. And when you fall into a glacier crack, you're doing 100 miles an hour when you get to the bottom. It's shaped like a V, so you get wedged in really bad. You can't breathe, so most people have a heart attack. And before the rangers can get there and chip a hole down to get to them, they've already froze to death. Hardly anyone ever survives that. So even though they're strong enough to walk up on the glacier, they weren't smart enough to obey the signs. And then we bring them home in a body bag, just like this one here. These are all my search and rescue buddies, they're professionals. Mount Athabasca, very famous mountain. People come from all over the world to climb this mountain. Might be a little hard to see, but there's 5 guys there, 3 there, another 4 there. These guys were all from France. We talked to them. They came all the way from Paris to climb this mountain. But they didn't just put on boots and climb a mountain. Even though they were rich enough to have the good equipment, they still hired a guide. And that's what kept them alive, because you go the wrong way on this mountain, there's all the stuff that can happen to you. There was a climber killed the year before this picture right about here when a chunk fell off and hit him. So you got to be smart enough, strong enough, and spiritual enough to say, God, is this a good day to climb, or is the weather going to turn bad and freeze us to death, you know? Here's me waiting for a helicopter to set down 2 body bags. There's 2 teenagers in there. They're strong, physically fit young lads. They took their toboggans up the real steep mountain to do some tobogganing. They knew nothing about avalanches. It took us 3 days to find them. They were underneath 25 feet of snow. Yeah, they didn't survive. You have a creative side. You're never going to find that creative side if you're sitting there texting on your phone, watching YouTube, talking to people. You're never going to see your creative side. Everything around you that's like microwaves, cars, jet planes, everything was invented by somebody with a creative side. Like me getting ready for a Christmas concert here. Get in touch with your creative side. Put that phone down. Learn who you are. Start ticking off that bucket list. Huh? Look at that. They just invented LED lights the year before I made this suit. I took somebody else's invention and made it into something really cool. Music. Here I am imitating Willie Nelson. I did an awesome music video that was it went so big on YouTube that Willie Nelson's granddaughter saw it. She texted me and said about the good work. She liked the way I imitated her grandpa. Never pet the wildlife. They'll rip your hand off. Fortunately, this one's just a statue. But you're never going to see wildlife if you don't get off your phone. You got to get out there and enjoy life. Kayaking. Wonderful sport. Get proper instruction. Get a job. Buy a kayak. Go have some fun. Live your life. Life is short. Have some fun. Skidoos. You'll never have enough money for a skidoo because you're on your phone all the time. Yeah, get out there and work. I sound like Dad again, don't I? Rock climbing. Awesome sport. Keep you physically fit. It's everybody thinks you gotta have arms like Arnold to get up these. No. Rock climbing is mostly footwork and brain work. But you do have to be physically fit to reach the top. Motorcycles. You want to buy a nice motorcycle and go in the mountains? Get a job. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a police officer. I used to draw pictures about police cars because my dad was a police officer. I thought that'd be such a cool career to go into. I went into it. It was kind of boring. Tons of paperwork. I only did it for about 3 years. But if you don't try it, you don't know. These adventures that you have the opportunity to do, you should get out there and try it. And even though it's difficult, you got to study to get there. It's rewarding. Adventure. There's nothing wrong with adventure unless you do it safely. It's pilot. Who doesn't want to fly an airplane? Every little kid that has a bike goes over a jump. They want to fly. It's in human beings. We want to fly, right? Highly worth it. Study hard. Get your pilot's license. Oh, yeah. Save enough money to buy a boat. Go fishing. Nothing wrong with that. Don't pet the wildlife. Moose kill more people than bears do in this country. That's just a statue, that one. That's not going to hurt you. So, my sister has dogs. I don't particularly care for them, but it sure is fun to go on an adventure with the sled dogs. Cold, but fun. Advanced deep water scuba diver. Oh, that is a hoot. Up here, our lakes don't have much to see when you get down there, but if you go scuba diving in the ocean, wonderful, pretty, lots of gorgeous fish, gorgeous girls. It's an adventure, another adventure that you can tick off your bucket list. Don't wait till you're old to do this stuff. Do it while you're young. Travel while you're young. Get off the phone. When you're old, you can look back at your life and it'll look something like this. Oh, look. I was a cowboy, a guide and outfitter, hunter, bounty hunter, sniper. I graduated from the Royal Conservatory of Music, and I played saxophone, guitar, bass, drums. They're all hanging on the wall here. I still play them to this day. I am an orchestra and choir conductor. That means I lead choirs and orchestras. That takes a lot of practice and study. I was the leader of a Western band. I'm a singer, a songwriter, recording artist, poet, advanced deep water scuba diver, rock climber, caver, mountain climber, skier, wilderness survival instructor. Yeah, I spent many years teaching pilots how to survive if the airplane crashes in the wilderness. Search and rescue technician specializing in avalanche rescue, cliff rescue, cave rescue, swift water rescue. I've been a carpenter, amateur plumber, ham radio operator, heavy equipment operator, truck driver, bus driver, jet boat driver, a boat builder, police officer, and a world traveler. And I really hope when you're an old timer and you're in the old folks home, you have a photo album filled with adventures that you have been on, just like I have. And the old folks around you be looking at it going, gee, I wish I'd have tried that. I spent my whole life poking my telephone and watching YouTube. Y'all have a good day, and hey, make the most out of your life. It's a lot shorter than you think.